surgery, everything a-okay after this?
Yeah, I think it went well, as well as any surgery can go. It's disappointing that I had to go through with that, but at this point it was kind of our last option, and I hope that it went well. I hope that I repair well and heal well, and I feel good for the start next year.
You had a winning attitude in junior and Windsor, really kind of helped turn that program around. You guys went to Memorial Cups, were champions. Come to the NHL, it's the best of the best, I understand that, but do you want to take on more of a leadership role, kind of take your personality of a guy who wants to do whatever it takes to win and ensure that guys in the locker room are on the same page?
Yeah, I'd love to kind of take that next step. I think as players we're all maturing, and I know myself I'm doing the same thing. And as in the room, I want to be more vocal and try and take that next step, because I want to be here for a long time. I want to be here when we're the team that that's contending and we're in the playoffs and everything like that. So I'm looking forward to kind of taking that next step next year, along with Ryan and Jordan, and having a bigger voice in the room.
Sam alluded to, he felt that more guys need to buy in next year if this team's going to win. Would you agree with that statement? Did you notice at times that maybe the buy-in factor wasn't as consistent across the room as it needed to be?
Yeah, I think we went in spurts of games where we played well this year. Obviously our start was great, and I think our finish was pretty good as well. But that middle of the season we had a lot of tough games. We had some injuries and whatnot. We know that, but at the same time we didn't play the good enough hockey, the hockey that is going to make us a contending team down the road.
How would you describe this season for you with injuries? I mean, the shoulder, the skate, the face. I mean, just a lot of bad misfortune for you.
Yeah, it was a tough season. Definitely not the way I envisioned my first 2 years in the NHL starting, but that's kind of the hands I've been dealt, and it can only go up from here, I guess. So I hope next year to come in very healthy, very strong, and hopefully play a full season and see what I can do with that, because every time I got hurt this year I felt I was playing my best hockey. I felt I was contributing the best I can, and I get hurt. So it was a tough season that way.
You had mentioned after the Wilson hit that your shoulder was, you knew you were going to have surgery, and you altered your game maybe a bit and didn't go into certain areas. You still were just as effective, produced a lot of goals. When you come back, even if the shoulder's healthy, will you keep that same mentality and knowing that maybe you don't have to go 150 miles an hour into every tough situation?
Yeah, I think it was definitely a learning experience, learning how to play, just learning how to defend myself in those positions, because my shoulder was so bad that I couldn't get hit like I used to, and I couldn't really go into battles like I used to. So I learned how to play like that. I changed my game a little bit, and that's something I'll take into the off season, into next year. The hit I got the concussion on was a tough hit. That was kind of my fault, but over the course of the year I didn't take too many bad ones.
Would you consider taking games off rather than trying to change your game or alter the way you play just to save yourself?
What do you mean taking games
Well,
off?
rather if you could sit out and heal, and rather than try to alter your game to play the game, would that be a better idea at some point?
Like just sitting out?
Yeah,
Like
and healing and getting healthy and coming back.
Oh, well, I'll be healthy for next year.
No, but I'm saying if this ever happens, ankle,
Oh,
concussion.
I took 7 games off when I hurt my shoulder to really heal it, and when I came back from that, it felt as good as it was going to feel, and obviously I completed the season. I didn't miss any more games for that, so I think the doctors here and myself, we did good with that, and I came back and felt strong.
Taylor, when people look at this roster, I think it's obvious they look at you and Jordan and Ryan Nugent-Hopkins as the future. A lot of hope hangs on you. I know this was a bit of a disappointing season from a team point of view, but when you do look ahead and you look at these guys and yourself, are you excited about the future, and do you feel that you can have even a bigger effect on this team moving ahead as a group?
Yeah, no, I definitely think that we have a good young core here, and we're definitely exciting. We definitely have a lot of potential, but I think we're sitting here last year saying the exact same thing. So it's at some point it's got to turn into something that can't all be hope and promise, because eventually the fans they're going to stop hoping, they're going to stop wanting, they're going to stop coming. So we have to. I think next year has to be a playoff year. It has to be we have to be a contending team, at least a team that teams are very afraid to play because of our skill level, the way we compete, and the way we play defense. So it is fun to be in that young nucleus of really good players, but we have to do something with it eventually.
How do how do you change that? Because you mentioned last year's exact same thing, and okay, we're going to be better. We're going to bring in number 1 overall pick, and the results, even though you guys improved in a lot of areas, still were 29th. What do you think is lacking? What's the biggest thing this team collectively needs to do better next year?
Well, I think our defense, our consistency. We had a lot of points during the year where we would just fall apart in games if it didn't go our way, or we weren't leading after 2 periods. We just kind of, said screw it, and we kind of mailed it in, and that's unacceptable. So next year, like I said, it has to be a playoff year. It has to be a year where we're contending. I think we're getting a little bit older. I know I'm getting more used to the NHL every time I play, but just little things as a team we need to improve on our defense, our consistency.
You seem to have that attitude that you won't be afraid to maybe stand up and say that next year after the second period if guys are just like, well, we're not going to do it. Is that something that, would you feel comfortable grabbing that role and, being more of an emotional leader?
Well, I don't know if I'm really that type of guy. If I'm the kind of guy that stands up in the room, I like to, play with a lot of passion, play hard, and make sure that I'm giving 110% out there on the ice, and hopefully guys will follow. That's more of the leader that I envision myself being.
Even though you envision that some teams need that vocal guy, are you willing to do that?
Well, I guess if it needs to be said, I'll say it, but I'm not going to be the rah-rah guy, the annoying guy in the room that just says stuff to say stuff to be heard. Just say it whenever it needs to be said, and that's the kind of leaders we need on this team.